So we will start by both of you introducing yourself and your title, so your part in the short film.
All right. That should be easy. Director.
We got this. Yeah, my name is Rosella Age. I am the writer/co-writer, because I wrote it with my sister, and the co-director on the film.
Yeah. I'm Joe Alexander. I am the co-director of DETERMiNED.
And how did DETERMiNED come around? Where did you hear? I believe it was a competition that you guys submitted this to. How did it come to you guys, and what was the starting process of that?
I'll let you take that one.
That's actually you.
Well, I did the competition 2 years before, and we actually won an award for that one. And I took a break the next year. And then Joe was the one that reached out and said, hey, I really want to do a film with some interesting, like, sound elements. And I was like, well, we've done this competition before. I guess we could do it again. So my sister and I went to the Paramount Hotel, stayed there the night, which was my process the couple years before, and we visited the different spaces, the different rooms, and a story started to evolve.
Yeah, and that's how we made the movie.
And you're touching on Paramount Hotel there, so what is the connection there behind the competition, if you can just explain a bit about that?
Yeah, so it's the We Create Drama film competition, which they've been running 3 years now, I think. And it's a really great platform for emerging film artists to have a beautiful set. I mean, it's a gorgeous, but it's a live set. I mean, that was one of the challenges, is that you actually are, trying to work around the guests who are there enjoying the hotel experience. Did you want to add anything about that?
No, that's perfect. Yeah, I think that was a challenge for us to not intervene with what the hotel was doing, and at the same time make sure we complete our whole film within 24 hours.
Yeah, it's a 24-hour. I forgot to mention that. That was a good challenge.
So in terms of 24 hours to pitch the idea, do the...
Sorry, no.
Okay.
You have 24 hours to film from the time you get on set and start shooting to, 24 hours later. So we arrived at 5 a.m. that day?
Yeah.
And
So we had to finish off by 5 a.m., but that was way too long. So we got done by about 1-ish.
Yeah, 1 a.m. Yeah, so we had written the script. We submitted, I can't remember how many scripts they received.
They said about 90 script, and they streamlined it down to, I think, 20 shortlist. And from that 20 shortlist, they selected 10 or 12, and ours was one of them.
Wow, so that's an achievement in itself, getting
Yes.
from 90 to 12 script submissions. And how did the production team come together, the cast? Was that all through you guys, or did Paramount get involved in any way?
So that was a process that we went through because we knew it's going to be hectic. We split responsibility. That's why we're co-directors. Rose took care of all the talents side. I took care of the production because she is a drama person per se. Is that the right way to say it?
I won't be offended.
She's a stage drama pro. So she took care of the actors and talents, and because the script was already there, she knew the best cast to get for it as well. Me being production based, I knew people that I could count on, rely on, who would be there on set, who would be reliable on set, and get them to come over there. So that's how we split the responsibility.
In terms of funding, is it self-funding, or is there a
Yes.
budget there? Okay.
Is there a budget?
There was no budget. There was no funds. The thing for us as filmmakers is we love a good location, and Dubai being Dubai, it's hard to get a location that would give us the opportunity to film over there. To film something like this in Paramount, I think we would have to spend roughly around 25,000 dirham just for location permits. And naturally, because it's a hotel, they would have additional charges for just going about blocking spaces and stuff. So the opportunity itself is really great, and it was a great advantage for any filmmaker to take up. So that was literally our main focus. From a budget perspective, we did spend a little bit on costumes and catering, although the hotel had given us some catering, but because we kind of overwent with our cast and crew, we had about
at least 25
people on cast and crew. So we definitely had to make sure that everybody gets fed. And it was going to be the whole day. So the energy had to be high.
You do not want a hungry cast or crew.
No, bless their hearts. They stuck with us. It was the least we could do.
And Rose made sure I had coffee throughout the day.
Great.
I needed the chai. So I got up at 4 a.m. to go to my favorite place in Kerama to get chai.
And in terms of the script, so your script must have stood out massively from the start to the people doing the competition. In terms of the story, when I came across, the storyline and the post from before, that is what caught my attention. It just felt different from what I have seen before, and I liked that the human element of, it's called Determined, and it's based on people of determination, and there was also a personal aspect in that. So if you can just take me back to how the storyline came about.
I'll let Rose take this.
That would be me. So my sister and I have a niece back in the U.S. Her name is Emma. So my oldest sister adopted 3 girls from China, and one of them is beautiful Emma. She has cerebral palsy and autism, so it's a challenging combination of differences. In the U.S. we have words like special needs and disabilities, but really it's a unique difference, and she still shines despite those limitations, you might say. And she's quite the overcomer. And so when we went to the hotel and we knew that Joe wanted to do something with sound, what was that thing that you described to me?
Diegetic sounds.
This word that I don't know what it means.
Me either, Joe, so please explain.
So diegetic sounds, so when you watch a video and there's all these natural sounds in the film, that's what diegetic sounds is. It's those additional sounds over there. So the thing, I'll let you finish your story, then I'll speak about the production part of it.
Yeah, so he wanted to do an interesting element for the viewer to experience. And so I have several people in my family, people that I'm close to, friends who are like family, that have a really unique sensitivity to noise and sounds and sensory stimulation in their environment, that they basically have to either wear headphones or tone things down, or they need to stim, which is using like a fidget cube or something, so that they can kind of maneuver and navigate the day. So while we were there, we felt like, wouldn't it be cool to capture maybe a bellhop on his first day, and he has unique sensory stimulation issues. So he's navigating like the loudness of a car door, or a door shutting in his face, or the chaos of a busy hotel during check-in, the bright lights, there's a lot of stimulation that we neurotypicals don't really notice, doesn't faze us, and it's different for some people. So we wanted to capture what does it feel like for him going through his day, and then we have to introduce a conflict, and because Joe and I like to make sure everything we produce has an element of hope, a kind of a silver lining, or something that gives people like, okay, I know that this was a difficulty, but I know how to handle it now. So we introduce a young teenage girl. How much can I go into?
You can. It's
on YouTube now, so
spoiler alert.
Spoilers, all the spoilers. A young teenage girl who comes in, and she has a physical difference where he has maybe a mental difference. She has a physical difference. She's in a wheelchair, and so she comes and she's downtrodden, she's depressed. She have a very overprotective dad who is afraid of what people will think, or doesn't want her to experience any more pain than she's already got. So we've got an optimistic bellhop meeting a downtrodden girl, and he wants to encourage her. He knows how she feels, and so he just wants to share some of the hope and some of his personal experience, what he's learned, and affirm her experience, but also say, like, I know what it's like to be depressed, but I also can share what's gotten me through this.
That's lovely. Really, really nice. And having that, you know, your niece and friends and family around you with these slight differences or challenges, I guess it allows you to tell the story not just from a production side. You know, you have that human element. And how important was that to get that message across?
So that was a very personal element that the Rose brought in. I definitely had my bouts with ADHD, and I struggle with it, but I think I've overcome most of it. It helps get that aspect of the inspiration and my personal struggles in it. So there are parts of the film where I've actually put in what I go through as being ADHD, when the whole walls closing in, and it was a risk from perspective, like, people wouldn't understand it when they watch it, but who actually go through it would say, yeah, I feel exactly the same way. We also collaborated with Joshua Das, who was our music director on this, and he got the message very clearly. He made the sounds and the diegetic sounds just work in the storyline. So that was a complete win for us. The whole film was basically, I would say, a visual sensory experience for anybody watching it, and it was targeted towards people who relate with it and people who don't go through it, to at least understand what it feels like being somebody in this position. Absolutely.
And I think there's one aspect of living with these challenges, but I really liked the fact, you know, you built it into the character of the bellboy. And not that I don't assume, you know, people in the working environment don't have these struggles, but I don't know, you sometimes maybe assume everyone's okay at work, or when you're enjoying a hotel or a restaurant, and you don't actually realise that these people might be going through these challenges. So how important was that to incorporate the work aspect? I guess you must have personal experiences of challenges within work.
Yeah. Empathy plays a massive role for everything. As somebody who's been in the corporate workforce, so I worked with a very small company called DHL for about 20 years, and just managing day-to-day issues was not a challenge, but you come across parts where people do things out of character, and either you can react to it or try and be patient and understand. The one of the messaging of the movie was not to judge quickly, but to just try and understand the process. We have a character in the film called Darsh, who is Victor's manager, and he goes through that whole process of trying to be patient and at the same time stern. So it just comes out differently.
Yeah, I would say in that case, he had a little bit of an arc because he understood that Victor, the main character, needed a little bit of, almost like a hand, like, hey, I'm here for you. I understand, like, I'm going to walk with you through this. But then he also gets impatient sometimes. And then later he ends up, well, you got to watch it. He ends up kind of being the person to restore empathy, in a sense, when Victor kind of gets hurt in the end. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
Regarding work, what you just mentioned, during the story process, it wasn't all just my ideas of how, it might be, or Drea's ideas, but it was also really cool. I had a research interview with this wonderful woman named Holly, and she has an organization called Heroes of Hope. And it's like an athletics organization. And so she helps people of determination with all kinds of differences, physical, mental, and she basically helps them grow through sports and overcome that way. Maybe parents who thought, well, my kid could never play basketball. Actually, they can. It just looks different. And so she breaks those barriers of what people maybe they put on themselves, or our parents they put on their children, because they also feel the heartbreak of what their child is going through. Yeah, and she lets them shine in a way that maybe they never would have. So when I was speaking to her, she actually told me that she had a former student or athlete that went on to be a bellhop in a hotel. And I had already written that line, but it just confirmed to me that this this is actually telling someone's story. And then this teenager I had, she described to me that she also had a young woman who has gone on to university and had incredible accomplishments, but she started where the teenager did that I wrote in. So that helped me add to her character, her feelings of depression and worthlessness and feeling stuck. So these are based on real stories, and I would say that everyone, whether it's in the workplace or in college, everyone around you, we just need to have empathy generally for each one.
Absolutely. And you said something important there, personally, I feel, and it's the breaking the barriers. It's the breaking the stigma of, you can't do that because you're this, or,
Right.
You can do that, or there's a lot of breaking barriers. And I do think we're in a very good position here in the UAE. There is a lot of work happening around people of determination through government schemes, etc. What are your aims, and how do you hope, making something like this will help, because a lot of the time it's not that people are purely ignorant, it's just maybe education, or things haven't been discussed before and they're unaware. So what are your hopes from the short film?
So like Rose said in the beginning as well, that whatever we create, we want to have an element of hope in it. The hope for this was definitely to start the conversation. UAE started the People of Determination Act in 2017, and that's going on. You see it everywhere. Every building you go into, they have accesses for wheelchairs and different points where people of determination can enter or even be feel like they're normal. And I think that conversation needs to continue in workplaces and other places as well. And that's something that Rose is it's a very close thing to Rose's heart with everything. So
yeah, our desire was also to join the UAE efforts, exactly. Like I've also noticed, and how the language even itself is empowering. It's not like limiting like special needs or disabilities is. And so we wanted to really echo what the UAE is doing, and we would also love to partner with any other organizations that empower people of determination. But also, like, this is just for everyone, because we all sometimes need to be made aware that without intending to, we can kind of leave people on the fringe. And so that's why I brought in this piece, Ellis. May I?
Absolutely.
So this is a puzzle that I used for an illustration at our cast and crew party, just to thank them for being part of a really important, not just topic, but basically like a movement. And what it is it's a super colorful puzzle, wouldn't you say?
yeah.
And what I had them do is I had them put together the puzzle, but some of the pieces were missing, and they didn't know that. Actually, Danny, his son, went and grabbed all the missing pieces, which is really beautiful. But the point being, when even one piece of our puzzle, meaning society, is missing, then the picture is not complete. So we should not move on, progress, even as a country. I mean, we are making advances a million miles an hour. But what is it if we leave out our neighbor, the person next to us, the child, the elderly, the person who doesn't feel like they belong? Every one of us, this is our right as a human being, is to feel belonging and purpose. So, Ellis, I wanted to gift you one of these pieces because you are using your platform to share about something that it spoke to your heart. So I want to gift this piece to you.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. And I love colour. Like, colour is, I love that. And I love that you've used that to describe society. We're all just small pieces, part of the bigger picture, for sure. Lastly, before we finish, I just want to touch on the awards because, maybe our listeners might not have had the chance to see it yet, and I hope many more people do after this, but it has been recognised already. So if you can just let me know about the awards.
We've won 6 awards so far, but I think more than anything else for us, it was never about the awards. It was always about getting the message across. The highlight from all the awards was definitely getting Best Film at the Emirates Film Festival, and that just showed that people resonated with the film, and that was a big win, especially because it was not a dedicated award towards a certain department of somebody who worked on the film, but it was for everybody, and that just highlights the effort that everybody's put on that. More than that, it just says that yes, people understand the message, and that just creates awareness for this issue.
Even the judge that you spoke to said that the reason it won Best Film was because it wasn't a topic that was talked about much.
Yeah.
And I think we came at it with I felt such clarity and confidence as I wrote it, because it's not just about the struggle, it's also about the encouragement. And it gives us all like a template of how we can be different, how we can adjust, how to feel confident when you greet someone or smile at someone, even if you feel a little uncomfortable, that you feel bad that maybe someone isn't in that position, but really they don't want you to feel bad for them. They just want to be treated like everyone else.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much for your time. And just where can people watch? Because I'm definitely wanting to sit down. I've saw snippets, and listening to you guys, it's made me excited to see the end and watch these characters grow.
Yeah, it's on YouTube as of last month. We put it out there, and anyone can watch it now.
Would you like me to do a little snippet for you live?
Go on. Absolutely.
Okay, so this is the musical part that I wrote. It's a duet between the bellhop who is listening to the teenager who's struggling. Here's what she says. Where do we fit? Isn't it all a bit unfair to judge who we are by our scars, set apart, unworthy? And then he responds, where do I begin? I know we fit a different mold, but aren't we all human anyway? Unfair to judge, so what? Let them. Who we are strong, resilient. By our scars are living proof that you are not unworthy. This is your life. You decide what defines your value. You are a gift to this world. Never doubt your purpose.
Well done. That was lovely. Thank you so much. That was really, really great. Thanks, guys.